Welcome in to another edition of Drawing a Crowd, the Business of Sports Tourism. With me, as always, is the real host of the show, the man with the mostest, and that's Terry Hasseltine, Executive Director of Maryland Sports. And joining us today on this edition is Marc Goldman. Marc Goldman is the Senior Director of Partnership for the Military Bowl Foundation. And Terry, we've got the matchup, and it's kind of for the Military Bowl. It's a real solid matchup, isn't it?
Oh, absolutely. I think, I don't envy what Mark and Steve have to go through every year as they wait for the teams to align. But I give them a lot of credit. I mean, they're doing the analysis and they're doing all the things behind the scenes. So when the teams do get announced on that line that they're coming to the Military Bowl, they're equipped and ready to get out there with all the campaigns that need to go ahead to get, the fan bases from those two institutions, ready to, come to Annapolis, Maryland, and the nation's capital for several days of just great entertainment, engagement, and giving back to the community, as well as a great football game that we'll see at Navy Marine Corps Stadium
Now,
later this month.
now the matchup, Mark, is the Pitt Panthers versus the East Carolina Pirates. Uh, what goes into coming up with this matchup, and are you excited about this matchup?
I am excited about this matchup. And I'll tell you, we spend all year, we know the bowl is coming. We get our date in May when all of bowl season schedule is adjusted. So we know roughly where we're going to be. But it's like giving birth every year. We wait, almost 50 weeks out of the year to find out what we've delivered. So we know we have an affiliation with the American Conference and the ACC, and our executive director Steve Beck, he has this notebook where I don't even know the hieroglyphics that he is filling out in there as each game is played throughout the season, and we kind of look at where the teams are jockeying in position with each conference. We have weekly meetings where we're looking at how many teams from each conference are becoming bowl eligible, what that might mean for us, where we're slotted in and being able to select teams. And then ultimately it all culminates on the first Sunday of December. So it was just December 7th where all the bowl season matchups were determined. And we got a really good one. I mean, you look at last year's bowl, 2024, we had East Carolina, NC State, and the two largest markets that drove fans into Annapolis were from North Carolina, as you would expect, but right behind it was Pennsylvania. So it's an easy spot for the fans and the alumni of both of these schools to converge in Annapolis for a great matchup for the bowl game.
Mark, before I turn you over to Terry for a couple of questions, it must be an interesting needle to thread because you got geography. You really don't want to go too far away, like getting a school from Illinois or something like that. So you got geography, the relevance of the teams, and the matchup. How hard a needle is that to thread sometimes?
I mean, you see the news from college football every day, and you see just how things, can get scrambled there between which teams are going to be eligible for the playoffs, and the conference championship games. So it really was until the day before that we started to get an actual picture for where things might land. So you have it narrowed down. It was probably the week before the bowl. We had it narrowed down to three or four teams from each conference that we thought were likely. And then you look within that and say, okay, what's going to be best for us geographically? And it's all slotted in from what other bowls are going to make decisions and who they're going to select. And ultimately, we're always looking for that best matchup that not only has an intriguing story and the geographical benefits, but fan bases that are going to be supporting a team that's on the way up. Pitt won 6 of their last 8. East Carolina, I think, won 5 of their last 6. So they both ended on real positive upswing that leads into a good matchup for teams that want to come and compete at the Go Bowling Military Bowl.
The game this year is Saturday, the 27th of December, Pitt versus East Carolina at Navy Marine Corps Stadium in Annapolis, 11 a.m. It'll be on national television on ESPN. Terry, you shoot with a couple questions.
Yeah, Mark, obviously, with the game, being right after the holidays and with it being an early kick, you know, how are you laying out the days leading in, the day of? Because I know some things operationally have to change because of an early kick. So what are some of the things that you've had to shift this year because of the time frame and the window of when kickoff is?
Yeah, we try and build a couple days around the bowl game for those alumni groups and fans and just supporters of the military who are coming to the game and the local community to engage in all that the Military Bowl has to offer. And so we have, because of the early kickoff, that kind of condenses the time, like you said, Terry, that's available to us. So we've moved the traditional Military Bowl parade from that would normally be the morning of the bowl game. We're going to move that to Friday afternoon at 2:30. The old parade route started at City Dock, but there's some construction there. So we're kind of moving through downtown Annapolis this year from Maryland Hall, finishing at St. John's College. And that parade is just something great for families to come out, for the fans arriving in town to really start to feel the spirit. We're going to have both schools' bands participating in the parade. We're going to have mascots. We're going to have military groups, youth football organizations, and our Medal of Honor recipients, who are honored guests every year, will be leading the procession. And of course, the biggest spectacle every year that people turn out for, the Budweiser Clydesdales, will be leading the parade. So that's going to be taking place at 2:30 on Friday. It leads into a great night of people going out, exploring the city, going to the restaurants. There's a pub crawl that night, and so it should just be hopping between the purple and the blue between the two schools competing for dominance in downtown. And then on the morning of the bowl, Saturday, December 27th, we have our tailgate festival right outside the stadium in the parking lot. And again, there's lots of activities and installations for people to view and engage with, and live music, and the Clydesdales are going to be on site. And it gets everybody hyped up for the start of the game, which will be, as we said, 11 a.m. kickoff that morning. It's a big day of football. I mean, come out to that game, and then I don't even know how many between NFL and other bowl games that day. I mean, there's no reason after the bowl game that you should ever move from your couch again until you go to sleep that night.
Well, I appreciate it. Let's I'd like to touch a little bit on the whole military aspect of it. Obviously, during the week leading up and then the few days, you recognize a lot of people for their service that they've given our country. And can you talk us through some of those special events that really pay tribute to those who have, fallen and those who are still giving to our country through the military service?
Yeah, this is really important. I appreciate the opportunity to talk about it, Terry. Is that the Go Bowling Military Bowl? It is not just a name or a theme. It is a mission. We are a nonprofit foundation that the bowl game is the biggest public facing effort that we produce. We'll have thousands of people at the game. We'll have millions of people watching it on TV. But what drives us in this game is our mission in operating Patriot Point, which is a 294-acre therapeutic recreational retreat on the Eastern Shore. And we bring veterans groups out there over the course of the year to engage in activities and counseling and communication and recreational activities to help them deal with the mental wellness side of their service and recovery. And so what's nice about what we do in engaging with the military is we're dealing one-on-one with these people. It is not some distant service that we're providing. I mean, these folks are walking through the front door at Patriot Point and meeting our team up there and engaging in activities and really getting to know them and just feel that camaraderie and spirit that grows from being in that space. And so that's really behind everything we do. We have some great partnerships. Navy Federal Credit Union brings in their ROTC All-Americans, which is a nationwide contest that they do to honor these top 3 students, and they bring them into Annapolis, celebrate them in the parade, and give them an opportunity to showcase. We bring the Medal of Honor recipients in, which is always a treat to hear from these heroes, the stories, the things that they endured, that they speak about just with so much humility and understand mission bigger than they were and what they accomplished. It just really helps put a lot of things in perspective and understand the mindset of those who serve in our country. And so, I think those touch points, those authentic moments, really help, reinforce what we do. And then when you've got a veteran parachute team diving into the stadium and other those ceremonial moments like that, I think it just helps bring about a spirit that people feel really good about our men and women who are serving our country.
Mark, is this going to be the first year that Terry is part of that parachute team that parachutes into the stadium?
Well, I didn't know that we were going to reveal that here, but Terry, is that to be?
Yeah,
Maybe
I
next.
think I've given up on my parachute days. I'm more going to be walking through the gate like everybody else, and trying to find that place where I can watch the game from a good view, and hang with the sponsors and hang with other people, and really talk about how valuable this event is, not only for those within the military ranks and the like, but also for the value of what it brings economically to this region of the country. During a time in which people are celebrating holidays and the like. So I'm going to be out talking and bragging about the work that you do, Mark, and Steve do on making sure that this event stays, very relevant to the Annapolis and Anne Arundel community, as well as connecting back to our nation's capital, and making sure that Maryland is front and center and focused on a long-term partnership here. So I'll be doing that day. I'll let the guys who are parachute.
I get it. The highest elevation that you'll be at will be the top of Ackerson Tower in the VIP suite. I got you.
There you go. I'm good at that.
I'll see you there. But you bring up a good point. We love the opportunity in the window of time where this game is to be an economic engine for tourism over those couple days of bowl weekend. The hotel occupancy rate goes up, by 30% to 40%. I mean, we're filling hotel rooms, we're bringing people to town. Last year, the study that we collaborated on with your group, Terry, found that we generated $7.9 million just in the hotel revenue that was generated over those couple days, and just about 6 million of that was Annapolis alone. So it's a great way to showcase the city at a time that's really beautiful and festive during the holiday season. And so that's kind of what makes the bowl a unique opportunity.
Yeah,
Mark,
I understand it hits all the key factors: heads and beds, food and belly, gas and cars, credit card and cash and counters, and butts and seats. So it hits the whole
it hits it
economic,
all.
matrix of, what we measure, in tourism dollars and sports tourism in the state of Maryland. So he hits all the checklists. Boom, boom, boom.
We got to put that on a t-shirt, Terry.
It's on a placard in my office.
I
It's
bet it,
close we're
I
getting
bet
so
it
far.
is. Hey,
There it
I
is.
just want to remind folks the game is Saturday, the 27th of December, a couple days after Christmas. The game starts, kickoff is at 11 a.m. Pitt versus East Carolina. If you're interested in tickets to the game, go to militarybowl.org.
Got it.
Militarybowl.org is where you can get tickets. Mark, I wanted to talk to you a little bit about the business aspect of this game, and I wanted to talk to Terry about that a little bit as well. You jumped in front of me on that, and that's fine. But I do want to ask what the Maryland Sports Commission has brought to this game, their involvement with you.
It's incredibly important partnership. I mean, we are in the space that they oversee in the stadium in the state of Maryland, with a shared mission, and that is to bring a great event, to bring a lot of attention to the area, and to bring people into Maryland, into Anne Arundel County, into Annapolis. And so, it's alignment on what we're trying to accomplish. It's a shared opportunity to elevate each other's message. And their support and just the communication over the course of the year, making sure that we're on track to achieve those goals is really what's important. And just using our event as a showcase for Terry's organization, and just
Yeah.
let people see, hey, this is what the Sports Commission, is producing, and these are the people to talk to when you want to bring, an event of scale into the area, and produce one that has impact, in all the areas that Terry just highlighted.
Do you feel that this game is now poised to grow? And how do you go about trying to grow this game?
Well, there's a couple ways. I mean, one is the first thing that you touched on. I mean, the what brings the most attention is the matchup.
Yeah.
And so, there are college football playoffs and there, that have, storied bowl games that have name recognition, all around the world. What we're trying to do is bring together two schools that have good fan base, good football teams that are on the rise, that have had productive and successful seasons, and create an event that people enjoy. From the parade to the festival to the spectacle that we have in there, and then a good competitive game. And so, every year we seek to build off of that. Last year, it came down to a 84-yard game-winning touchdown with just over a minute left. I mean, you couldn't ask for more excitement. Even though we had a little more excitement like a minute before that with a huge, a huge fight that cleared both sidelines for a few minutes. But that's important. And then, my role in developing partnerships with, different businesses and companies and corporations and getting their, investment in the game through sponsorship, advertising on our national broadcast, bringing in their activation to help elevate the experience for people. And so, I have always had the philosophy that there is no business, that is too small. There is no endeavor that is too large that we can't find the space for to partner with, if they've got a genuine passion for our mission and a desire to elevate the event experience.
I got one other question, and I know you don't control this at all, but it's always been my belief that Navy versus Maryland is a game that sort of really would capture on a regular basis the imagination. And I know that scheduling is very difficult. Maryland in the Big Ten, Navy having so many big games. Could you see a year where there's a possible fit for that game?
Well, I'll tell you, I mean, in our bowl game with our affiliation with the ACC and American, we missed out on Maryland as a possibility through the
Okay, so
ACC.
it can't happen.
But it can't happen here. But, speaking of Maryland, Maryland and Georgetown just hooked up on the basketball court, and many
Yep,
people thought that would never happen. So
yep,
never say never, right? It's good entertainment. So
yeah.
who knows
No
what'll happen
question
out there
about it. Well,
someday.
it's happened a couple times.
Yeah.
I think Terry was instrumental in bringing it back, but there was an old bitter rivalry outside the football field
Yep.
over a game that took place, I think, at College Park. But anyway, it'd be interesting. Again, tickets, if you're interested in going to the Military Bowl, it's militarybowl.org is the
Got
tickets. And Mark, once again, could you give the schedule of the parade and what time best to get to the game on Saturday?
Yeah, and all the information is on that website, militarybowl.org. And so Friday, December 26th, we're through the holidays. You want to get out of the house, right? The family is starting to get a little antsy. So 2:30 on Friday afternoon um, is the Military Bowl parade. West Street is going to be packed. The Clydesdales, the marching bands, the military honorees, pageant winners. I mean, it's just a great spectacle and a great thing to enjoy as a part of the holiday season. The day of the bowl, Saturday, December 27th, the tailgate festival pops at 8 a.m. That goes till 10:30, which everyone will go inside the stadium, and that's when we have our opening ceremonies. Well, like I said, with Terry's friends parachuting into the stadium, the giant flag unfurling, and other cool spectacle leading up to kickoff that day at 11 a.m.
All right. We really appreciate your joining us, Mark. I'm going to ask Terry to stay, and Mark, you get off to your other meeting. All right.
Hey, I appreciate the time. I'm always happy to talk about the Go Bowling Military Bowl and see my friend Terry.
We're always
Well, we
gonna
appreciate you, Mark.
we're always gonna have you on this podcast. Thank you,
Yep.
Mark.
Thanks, Terry.
Appreciate it.
Good to talk with you. Stan, be well.
Okay. Happy holidays.
You too.
Terry, I just wanted to keep you on for just a minute to
Yep.
talk a little bit about what you must be really kind of got your chest out. Again, successful back-to-back years of Army Navy in the state of Maryland. And of course, having it at M&T is fabulous. How did it come off?
Well, everything, I mean, obviously you saw the game was a really tight one, came right down to the end, 17-16 Navy victory. But I think overall, I think the spectator and the spectacle that is Army Navy carried out and shined really well for the city of Baltimore. The march on again, fantastic. It's always interesting to see the precision and the pageantry that goes along with it. The game exchange, and then as they call it, the prisoner exchange that happened pregame, where a someone from each academy has been at the other academy for a whole year, and they finally released that person back to to their group. And it's just seeing that, and then seeing the number of dignitaries, from whether it's the commander in chief to the various secretaries within the federal government, and then seeing all the state leadership out there. It's really a cool opportunity to see, and then so proud to be a part of a team like the Maryland Stadium Authority, who's is behind the scenes working with the Ravens on delivering safety and security, and getting people in, especially when you bring in that level of dignitary environment, and making sure that everybody has to go through the various processes. It's different. It's not your typical game day experience, but the city showed well, the teams played well, and therefore it's a big win all around. And we'll see what the future holds for another opportunity for Baltimore to host a game again. But we'll
What
see.
would you?
That's another
What would?
cycle.
And I know the cash registers haven't tallied everything yet,
No.
but what is the economic impact roughly of
Well, you're going
having
to see
that
it's
game?
going to be in excess of probably in the upper 20s to mid 30s, somewhere in that ballpark is what I've seen in previous reports. But it's hard to tell because with the game and knowing who was also attending in advance, that obviously elevated some more people coming into town. So I'll let the people who actually do the turnstile tickers and the cash register monitoring and the like. Give us some information, and we'll feed it into that little economic impact calculator. And hopefully, somewhere by the end of the month, we'll have a good feel for all of that.
All right, don't want to put you on the spot, but knowing how far out the game now, I don't know how many years it's booked, but would 5 to 6 years from now be another roughly that kind of ballpark of bringing it back
Yeah,
here?
I think next year the game goes up to Boston.
Right.
You're seeing that last cycle where it went to New York. It's gone to our other partner down in the Commanders and Northwest Bank Stadium there, and then this year obviously here, and then Philadelphia, and then it's in Boston. So I think if I heard correctly, the next cycle, which will be that next 5-year cycle after Boston, that will come out and see where the cards land there. But it will be a competitive bid process. A lot of people. I mean, matter of fact, had a lot of my colleagues from around the country were at the game this weekend exploring it to figure out how they could bring it to their location. I think most of them realized that the number of people you have to move in that operation to have that game, that it would be a huge lift if you're not along this greater Mid-Atlantic corridor because of where the two academies are, and the number of personnel that have to move and be a part of the moving portfolio. So I like the chances of where the Mid-Atlantic cities sit, and I like
Yeah.
our chances in Baltimore because I know between the Ravens, the Maryland Stadium, the city leadership, and the state leadership, we got the right team assembled to make sure that we're putting ourselves with our best foot forward to win the day.
Okay. Again, the Military Bowl is taking place 12/27/25. That's a Saturday. The game starts at 11 a.m. The game is on ESPN. Pitt versus East Carolina. Ticket information, militarybowl.org.
Correct?
Terry, one quick word. We had our friend on from the Governor's Cup Challenge, the high
Yep.
school tournament down in the Eastern Shore. Just a word about that.
Yeah, I mean, if you're looking for things to do post-holiday, obviously we just talked about the Military Bowl, which is a great, huge opportunity to see some great college football. But down in the Eastern Shore in Wycomico County, they're hosting the Governor's Challenge. Our friends James Simon and Justin Palazzi were on here, talking about the teams from all over the country coming in. The brackets are out there. Take a look at them. But if you want to see some of the best high school basketball in the country, in the largest high school basketball tournament in the country, you got to get down to the Lower Eastern Shore. Check it out, the Governor's Challenge. The team down there is ready to welcome you, and the team is ready to put on some great showcase of high school basketball right in the Lower Eastern Shore.
Yeah, and if you're a basketball junkie and like high school basketball, it's really,
Oh, it's the
really
place to
entertaining.
be. You'll see some
And
of the biggest names that are going to be recruited in the future off the college, and then some of those guys have gone on to the pros. So, what James and Justin and team down there have done is tremendous, and kudos to them. And I'm excited to get down there, hoping to be able to pop down there the latter part of the tournament just to see some of their work in action.
is that if you Google Governor's Cup
The
State of
Governor's
Maryland
Challenge. If you go Governor's
Governor's
Challenge,
Challenge?
you'll find it. It's out
Okay.
there. You know, like I said, they've done a tremendous job marketing and promoting it. So
All right.
governorschallenge.com, I believe, is the site.
All right, Terry, happy, healthy holidays to
You
you.
too.
Happy, healthy New Year. And look forward to talking to you in January. All right.
Absolutely. Thank you so much, Dan. And let's make it a great end of the year and let's start the new one with a bang.
All right. Sounds good. Terry
Thanks.
Hasseltine for drawing a crowd, the business sports, one of the best in the business.